What's going on, guys? This is BroncoJuggalo, and I should have done this review yesterday. And I was going to do it as soon as I got home today, but as soon as I got home, I walked into my man cave, and I found a shelf knocked over, probably from the cat. I don't think my daughters did it. They might mess with stuff, but they don't knock shelves over. And it's not a very big shelf. It's a tall shelf, but it's not a very wide shelf, so the cat could have knocked it over. And sitting on top of that shelf was my Transformer Matrix Leadership statue. Now this is a real one, not one of the cheap knockoffs you can find on eBay. And when I bought it for like $250, like 15 years ago or whatever it was when it came out. And now that thing's going anywhere between $700 to $1,000. So I'm a little pissed off right now. I've been kind of pissed off since it happened, or since I found it anyways. And I almost didn't do this review. Yesterday, I decided to take the day off from YouTube completely. I didn't watch a single video, none of my friends, nothing. I didn't watch any of my videos, or do any videos, or record anything. I just decided to take a Sunday off and basically play video games most of the day. That's what I wanted to do. Anyways, all that preamble out of the way. I am here with the next review in my Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise review series. Today we are doing Next Generation. Now this movie came out in 95 and in 97. I'm going to get to that here in a second. Directed by Kim Henkel, or Henkel, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, who also helped write part 1, and I believe was a producer and maybe an assistant director. I can't remember exactly what else he did on the film. And he says that this movie is the true follow-up to that part 1. It stars Matthew McConaughey as Vilmer Slaughter, Renee Zellweger as Jenny, and Robert Jacks as Leatherface. In this movie, Leatherface has a new family. A family that's controlled by the Illuminati, of all things, is not cannibalistic, and they just like raising some good old-fashioned hell down south in Texas. Just a bunch of murdering motherfuckers. Led by Matthew McConaughey, Vilmer Slaughter. This group is crazy, psychopathic, and just all around a lot of fun, kind of like we've come to expect from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This movie also goes by the title The Return of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and was released in 1995. And then it didn't do too well, and they decided to shelve the movie. They literally pulled it out of theaters, put it on the shelf, did not give it a release. It did not get a VHS release until 1997. In 1997, they did some recuts on it, put it back out, released it on home video in Japan, and put it back on theaters in America. And the reason they did it in 97 was to capitalize off of Renee Zellweger being in Jerry Maguire. Now, I've watched this movie a few times, and I really enjoy it. I have the Scream Factory edition of this film, which is available over on HamiltonBook.com. for like $15. Really cool edition. It's got reversible artwork. On that particular edition, it has the unrated director's cut, which is only in standard def. And it also has, the theatrical cut, which is in high def. And I like them both. I prefer the theatrical cut over the director's cut. The director's cut is a few more minutes longer, but I don't really feel that what is added to it really adds that much to the story. And for a while during the film, I kind of wondered, was Leatherface not related to Vilmer or the family? Was he related to Darla, who is Vilmer's girlfriend? And the reason I was wondering if he was related to Darla is W.E. is one of the other characters in this movie. It's the other brother. Comes in and slams the door, and he says, "Look what your stupid brother did." And I thought he was talking to Darla, but it wasn't. He was talking to Vilmer. Because Vilmer then refers to Leatherface as his brother. So this one honestly does not really follow the continuity of the franchise whatsoever. It kind of exists in its own little world. And in this one, Leatherface is quite a bit different than he is in any of the other movies. The portrayal of Leatherface isn't bad. I'm not sure if I really like the character of Leatherface as much in this one. He's very much whiny and cryy in this one. And he's much more vocal than he is in the rest. And I get what Kim Henkel said. Kim Henkel said in an interview that Leatherface is identity free. He doesn't have an identity because he doesn't know what his identity is. So whenever he puts on somebody else's face, he adopts their identity. So if he's wearing a woman's face, he acts like a woman. If he's wearing an old woman's face, he acts like an old woman. And in this one, I believe all he wears is women's faces. I don't believe he wears a single male face in this film. Overall, though, guys, I really, really enjoy this one. I have a lot of fun with it. I know that sounds weird because so many people hate this movie. And once again, I've heard, oh, you like this one, but you don't like part 2. I've explained the reasons for that. I've explained it multiple times. If this one had followed part 1, I probably wouldn't like it as much either. But I just don't like that it flip-flopped that fast with part 2. Now then, that being said, I don't need to go into all that again. I've said that a million times. This movie is a lot of fun, and I love Matthew McConaughey's performance in it. And that's going to start off my pros, guys. Matthew McConaughey is awesome in this movie. He's fun. He's crazy. I consider him to be a much, much better character than Chop Top. And even better than Tex in part 3. Now, I do think that him and the hitchhiker are kind of on a par in different ways, though. I like how in this movie it keeps the dark tone of part 3. Now, it does have some of the few more comedic elements that part 2 had, but it does them a little more reserved. It doesn't go quite as zany and wacky. It's not quite the Looney Tunes show that part 2 is. And it is still quite dark and kind of fun and scary in a way. And not only is it dark, but it does keep the essence, the feel of the craziness from part 1. And I really feel that this is a much more true sequel than part 2 is, even with the change in the family. One of my favorite scenes in this movie is the remote war, where Renee Zellweger's character Jenny gets the remote control, gets a hold of one of the remote controls that controls Vilmer's leg. Now, Vilmer is crippled, and on his leg, he rigged up some sort of machine that he controls with TV remote controls to help him walk, stand better, run, things like that. And she gets a hold of one, and he's got one, and they're fighting back and forth, and his leg's just going nuts. And it's funny. I think that's a lot of fun. It's a really cool scene, and I really enjoy that scene. Something else I really like in this movie that they don't have as much in some of the others is a lot of the stunts. This movie kind of reminds me almost of an action movie, so to speak, as far as the stunt work goes and the things they do, even more so than the other ones did. You have this great stunt where Jenny climbs up a TV antenna, and then she jumps off and grabs a hold of a cable that is suspended between the roof and a telephone pole. And I thought that was really cool. It looked really good. They did a really good job on it. And I'm not sure who Renee Zellweger's stunt double was, but it was really cool. And it was good old-fashioned stunts. It wasn't CGI. It was, they did a really good job on that. They did a good job on the stunts. They did a decent job on the kills. There isn't a lot of gore in this movie. I'm going to get into that here in a second. But overall, I really enjoyed this movie. I think it's a lot of fun. And I just really liked it. I like that it is a different story. I like that we have a different family. I don't like, and this is where I'm going to start my cons, the Illuminati angle. I thought that was a little weird. I wish they would have kept them kind of hillbilly cannibals like the Sawyers were. I think that would have made more sense if they were maybe another branch of the Sawyer family. Or, like family friends or something. Just to give the franchise a little better continuity. I didn't like that there's not a lot of gore in this film. There really is not a lot of gore in this movie. And I really did not like that. There's some great makeup effects on the skin suits, things like that. But there is no real active gore, like really good active gore, in this film. My last con is that I don't like Jenny's friends. They're annoying, I don't like them, and their dialogue is kind of dumb. But that's just me. That's me nitpicking it a little bit. Overall, guys, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is worth a watch. So many people give this movie shit, and I get it. It's not what most people consider a great film, or even a great horror movie. But it's a blast. If you can sit down in the right frame of mind, it's a lot of fun. Well, guys, I know that this review may not be my best yet, but I hope you still enjoyed it. And I hope that you go out and check out Texas Chainsaw Massacre Next Generation if you have not done so already. If you've never seen this movie, give it a try. If you have seen it and you didn't like it, give it a second shot. If you've seen it and you love it, keep on watching it. This is BroncoJuggalo saying thank you to everybody out there once again for 700. I was at like 705, and then I went back down to 699. Now I'm at 701, and you know, it is what it is. But my next goal is 800, then 900, and 1,000. So I will get there eventually. Anyways, guys, thank you all very much for watching. This is BroncoJuggalo saying peace.
Open up my eye, man, they got me going crazy. I just steady grind, killer hustle on the day.